Hi guys, my name is Heinrich Karl Heimann, and just a little bit more about myself to give you some background of why I'm doing these videos and why I'm actually um, why I'm actually here. So I've always had kind of a liking for beer, and that liking actually grew into like a love for for beer. So I started drinking beer when most people probably started drinking beer here at or round about when I was 16, 17, and I mean people started drinking beer, and at that point the cheapest beer and most readily available beer was of course Black Label. So initially, I don't think I really liked beer, but as time goes on, you start to get used to it, and I actually really started liking it, and that was my beer of choice for probably 5, 6 years. The end of high school, and also for most of my varsity days, where I mostly drink Black Label beer, and I don't think I ever really bought anything else at a liquor store um, in terms of beer. There was, of course, a couple of other beers on the market, but they were usually a little bit more expensive. For example, Namibia Breweries, which had the Windhoeks, but I never really got into it then, so I never really actually drank Windhoek. So the other beers that was also available was Castle Lager, Hansa, um, Heineken, Amstel, Lion. I think was not really that um, that popular anymore. I don't really know what happened to that, but yeah, and from all of those beers, I didn't really enjoy any of them except for Castle Lager, but only the draft where it was available in restaurants and or pubs. And I mean, for a long, long time, that was usually the only beer that you can get on tap. So loved Castle Draft, but never really liked a Castle Lager. Um, so after a while, probably here towards the end of my studies, and but I think probably more here from 2010 when I started working, I completely switched over to Castle Light, which is still actually my commercial beer of choice if I have to choose um, anything. A lot of people say that a very it's a very watered down beer, but I actually quite enjoy it because it is a light lager. I can knock down a couple of them without feeling too full, and it also doesn't hit you in the head as much as other beers. So that's why I still prefer Castle Light, apart from obviously my own beer or some specific craft beers or international beers, which I have grown to be quite fond of. So, so yeah, the long and short of it, that's my history with how I got into beer, and this was obviously until the craft beer trend or revolution or whatever you would call it um, started, and that's what also got me into brewing my own beer, which I'll also go into a little bit more detail of what I've brewed before, future plans of brewing, because the brews that I have done the past 2.5 years were all extract beers, which is quite a simple way of brewing beer, where you basically chuck all the ingredients in a fermenter, let it ferment for 2 weeks, bottle it, and then after 2 weeks you can drink it. So there's very little room for error, except for if you completely fuck up sterilizing your equipment. But luckily I haven't had an issue. Not that all of my beers were super tasteful, but I haven't had a batch that was spoiled yet. So yeah, I'll be reviewing some beers, even if it's some of the more commercial beers, and then my own beers, and then I might also do a couple of craft beers which I like or which I prefer and stuff like that. So yeah, cheers guys. It's a Saturday evening during lockdown in Pretoria, so that's why I'm doing this video, because I am actually bored as fuck. So cheers, hope you guys are staying safe, and we'll chat soon.